Morning world, it's Wednesday, it's the 16th of February 2022, it's about 8 a.m. in the morning UK time. Today is the full moon in Leo. The full moon in Leo will take place at 2 minutes to 5 in the afternoon UK time today, and it will take place at 27 degrees 59 minutes of Leo, at the end of Leo. Whilst the full moon in the sky today is not making any significant aspect to any of the other big planets, both the sun and the moon will be square to a north node. And for some reason, I've got a bug in me about this full moon. It's at the end of Leo, and it seems to be relevant in the charts of a number of prominent world figures. So I'm just going to briefly focus on a couple of these who are in the news or not in the news. It is very strong in the horoscope of Donald Trump, of whom everything's gone very quiet recently. I'm not complaining at that, but I do feel that we're going to see a bit of a resurgence in the news about him in the coming days. Probably not in his favour, bearing in mind the fact that his accountants of 10, 15 years have just walked away, saying that they can't trust his accounting. Far more important is the horoscope of Vladimir Putin, bearing in mind that in the last few days the world has been on the, or Europe, sorry, not the world, has been on the edge of war. I never thought I'd say those words again, but I have. And whilst this full moon does not directly impact on Vladimir Putin's chart, it is very close to his midheaven. Seasoned astrologers who have Putin's horoscope know that although he's a Libra, he has the Sun conjunct Saturn with Scorpio rising and Pluto on the midheaven in Leo. His Pluto on the midheaven is around 21, 22 degrees of Leo. The full moon is at 27 degrees of Leo, so it's conjunct weekly to Putin's midheaven. I have no evidence to back up what I'm about to say, but I've got a funny feeling, backed up with a bit of astrology. There was a Russian Tsar many centuries ago called Vladimir the Great. I know little of him, but I somehow suspect that Vladimir Putin, with his Pluto on the midheaven, wants a legacy. Now, it may be that the cost of war, both in terms of economic sanctions, financial impact, and particularly human life, is so severe that there will be a step back and some type of compromise, no doubt, made, and that's probably the likely outcome in the next day or two. I believe that if there was going to be an invasion, well, if it hasn't happened by Friday, it's not going to happen, basically, astrologically anyway. The full moon is the trigger. But in the coming months, Saturn is going to play a very big role in Vladimir Putin's chart. By the end of March, well, as we speak, Saturn in the sky is now 1 degree away from his north node. By the end of March, Saturn in the sky will be opposite his midheaven and opposite his Pluto, and this will then continue until the end of the year. He's of a similar age to me. He's a year or so older than me. 2 years older than me, something like that. I do question his physical health, not because of COVID. And I would not be surprised if the invasion of Ukraine goes ahead, then he is going to be particularly targeted at the economic and financial level by many other countries in the world. And if it does not go ahead, he's probably going to be targeted by some of the more right-wing nationalist forces within his own country. Saturn is going to spend 9 months opposite his midheaven. Saturn is the great equaliser. He will keep the large scale, the long term, the extremes in check. At the same time, he will create hardship, challenge and blockage for anyone who does go to extremes. And I think that with Saturn coming up in Putin's chart over the coming year, I would not be surprised to see Vladimir Putin no longer as the president of Russia in a year from now. He may do the Gorbachev version and engineer a nice get out so he's got a nice little dasher somewhere on the Black Sea for the rest of his life. He may be replaced, I don't know. But I think that his days are coming to an end, and I may be wrong. But this full moon today it's kind of like the pimple on top of the boil, not just for the world, but for individuals as well. And for anybody whose birthday is yesterday, today, tomorrow, I suppose, or for that matter, around August the 20th, 21st, at the end of Leo, this is a pretty critical time in their lives. And the decisions that these people are making today or tomorrow will reverberate into the rest of the year. It's a full moon. Whilst it doesn't make difficult aspects of the planets in the sky, but for most of it it's okay, nevertheless, the fact that both the sun and the moon are square to the north node in the sky as we speak suggests to me that for all of us, today's full moon is a sensitive one. The pimple on top of the boil is a good analogy, and rash or impulsive decisions made now, whilst we are still, remember, coming out of Mercury retrograde shadow just for another few days, suggests to me that there's a need for caution out there. On a completely different note, if you're up early in the morning, like an hour before sunrise or 45 minutes before sunrise, look somewhat south of where the sunrise point is and higher in the sky, and you will see Venus at the moment as bright as it gets, 3 or 4 times brighter than the brightest star. It is a spectacular thing. And I think it's the 27th of February. If you're up early in the morning, look to the southeast and you'll see a very thin crescent moon, the slightest slice of a crescent moon. Above it you'll see Venus, and in the middle you'll be able to see Mars. It's turning into quite a nice light show out there the more we get into the end of this month. Catch you later, world. Bye.